people start to realize our differences aren't as big as they seem.
I couldn't really understand the magnitude of what was going on.
I know a lot of people were affected.
You know, it's still that divide.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network and Wish TV, this is Our City, Our Voice.
You look a lot different at it.
Everybody was kind of spinning about what it was and what was happening.
Everything's changed.
Everything's changed. Celebrating Women's History, brought to you by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Good evening and welcome to our Celebrating Women special. I'm April Simpson.
And I'm Phil Sanchez. You know, throughout the month of March, we joined the country in celebration of the women who have contributed to their communities and also improved the lives of women and their families.
Tonight, we introduce you to 6 very different women, each one inspiring in their own way. We're starting off with African-American businesswoman and educator, Violet T. Lewis. Born in 1897, Violet was not only a trailblazer for women, but for African Americans and other people of color. In 1928, Lewis took out a $50 loan and started the Lewis Business College in Indianapolis. She would later move the college solely to Detroit, making it the only historically black college in Michigan. Lewis's granddaughter, Dr. Violet E. Ponders, gave us an inside look into her grandmother's life and how her legacy continues on.
I am Dr. Violet Elizabeth Ponders. My name comes from both my grandmother, whose first name was Violet, and her sister, whose name was Elizabeth. They were both educators. They both lived in Indianapolis for a long period of time. And they're very special to me. And I am proud, very proud, to carry both names. My grandmother, when she left Wilberforce University, she went to Selma, Alabama, to the university there, and she started a business program there. You know, she wrote the curriculum, she did all of those kinds of things. She came back to Indiana, first to work for Madam C.J. Walker, and then slowly she developed her own business. She was one of these that saw something and it just stayed with her. And finally, her mother said, either you're going to do something about this or you're going to stop talking about it. My great-grandmother was very colorful, so the language was just a tad bit different. She ended up starting the college. First, I want to say it was on Vermont Street. It was a storefront. She only had a couple of students. She didn't have any evening students. So she made her sister, Elizabeth, sit in the window. So it looked like she had students in the late afternoon, early evening. She was very creative. I don't know anybody who would have started a business in January of 1928, but she did. She ended up moving the business into her home on 28th Street. Thankfully, she had a father who was a master carpenter, so he transformed her house into her house and the college. She ended up closing the Indianapolis operation because she had also started a college in Detroit in 1939. The Detroit College, of course, Detroit's a larger city, so it grew much faster, and she couldn't do the back and forth. She was an entrepreneur. She had everything from a peanut shop, and when she was cooking the peanuts, she made sure that the exhaust went out on the main street to draw people in. She had a business where she did things like printing and things like that. So she was all about making her students experts at what they did, using what she had around you. I think more importantly, she was interested in changing the lives of people. Because as she changed the lives of these women, she changed the lives of their families.
Later, Violet's granddaughter and namesake shares more of Lewis's life and legacy.
Stay with us. Celebrating Women. We'll be right back.
What can 160 years of experience teach you about the future? A lot. especially when it comes to protecting what matters. At Pacific Life, we've helped people and businesses confidently embrace the future with life insurance, retirement income, and employee benefits. With strategies built on strength and trust, and a promise to be here for you today and tomorrow. Ask a financial professional how Pacific Life can help you today. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York. Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
Celebrating Women's History. Brought to you by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Welcome back to our Celebrating Women special.
Renee Lucas is the owner of LCS Heating and Cooling and was recently named Service Nation's Woman of the Year.
Renee is a successful business owner who is passionate about helping other women.
Yeah, she shares her journey as inspiration for other women who strive to succeed in a historically male-dominated industry.
My husband was an HVAC technician out of high school. After a little while, that's what he went to school for. And, he said to me one day, it'd be cool to have our own business. And so fast forward several years, he worked as an installer, he worked as a service technician, and we felt like we were ready. And so in 2005, we established LCS Heating and Cooling. And so that's really my introduction. I didn't know anything about the trades until then. And I started out, I was answering all of our phone calls. I was, getting a website built. I was doing the invoicing. I was doing all of the kind of behind the scenes in the office. And over the years, that position has evolved and the company has grown. And today, I'm definitely a visionary of the company and see where do we want to go and what do we want to look like and what do we want our team to work towards and all that good stuff. I do a lot with our marketing and finances of the business as well. Women relate to people in a different way than men do. And it's not right, it's not wrong, it's just different. There are a lot of times, I'll never forget, I'll give you an example, I'll never forget the first time I was talking to somebody on the phone and I was answering questions about a quote for a new system that my husband had provided, but he wasn't home. I was talking to her and I was answering questions and Travis walked in and I said, oh, hey, Travis just got here, I can put him on the phone with you. And she was like, oh no, I don't need to talk to him, you're doing fine. Talk about a confidence booster, right? And so that really it helped me understand that I can do this and I do know what I'm talking about and I can learn and I do find it interesting, which is what keeps me going with new technology and new things as our industry is evolving. But a lot of it comes from self-confidence. As a company, we belong to a company called Service Nation Alliance, and it's a best practices group for contractors. So, each year there is a Woman of the Year award that is recognized, and I am so honored to have received that award in 2023. I feel very grateful, and I think of all of the companies and all of the people that have helped us along the way. Owning a business is no joke. It's tough, and there's some days you celebrate and there's some days you cry, right? And so, all of the people that supported us, and one of my goals is to be able to support other small business owners in the same way, and especially when they're, going through challenging times or there's something that they're working to improve upon in their business, I want to be a resource for them, just like so many have been for me. Reach out to somebody and just have a conversation, right? And so, you might go on to an HVAC company or a plumbing company or electrical companies, like look at their website and look at career openings. Start there and see if something maybe calls to you. And if it does, reach out. And especially if there's another woman, ask to speak to that woman. So, there are several women that are employed here at LCS with several different positions. And so, it may serve you well to speak to, me as an owner of the company to, help guide like what kind of career path might I look to take. It might help to speak to somebody in sales, to speak to one of our technicians in the field, to speak to our dispatcher, to really look at, okay, where do I want to go and how can I grow? Gretchen in our office, when she started with us, she was a customer representative and she answered phones and scheduled from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. because she wanted to get her daughter on and off the bus every day. And so from there, she's been with us for almost 10 years. She's now our finance manager. And so she has literally worked through so many positions in our company. And so I don't think people realize the career path and the growth and the opportunity that's there. But the first thing is take a step, see what's out there, go search for job openings and see if something calls to you and reach out and ask to speak to somebody, especially and ask for a woman.
Celebrating Women's History. Brought to you by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Wish TV's Jeremy Jenkins recently had an exclusive interview with legendary journalist Barbara Boyd.
Boyd was the first African-American female broadcast journalist in the state of Indiana.
Here's her story.
to start out by giving you something.
Miss Boyd was happy to receive the flowers, but at just one glance around her home, you know it's far from her first time she's been given a nod because of her legendary career, which she tells me started with a phone call, believe it or not.
What's the nature of the call? He says, well, we're interviewing black women for television. And I very jokingly said, well, honey, if you're looking for a star, here I are.
That call would lead the aspiring star to becoming a pioneer as Indiana's first African-American female broadcast journalist.
February 10th, 1969, old Barbara had a job. Didn't know beans about what to do.
But she learned fast, and by 1973, Barbara Boyd would tell one of the biggest stories of her career and her most personal.
Even to today, I've been retired over 30 years. People still come up to me and say, I remember that story that you did on your breast cancer, and thank you.
How does that make you feel when people still come up to you?
You know, I'm surprised that people even remember me. I've been gone 30 years. But there's some things, I guess, that just stick with some people, and that was one of the stories that did.
Outside of being a pioneering storyteller, Boyd was a wife and mother. But she says there were times when she struggled with all those roles.
I got lost. I asked my kids to do something. I'm going away. When I come back, I want the job done. When I got back, I said, did you do so-and-so? Shirley said, we didn't have to do that. That's the nanny. I said, I beg your pardon? Shirley said, we didn't have to do that. What? For a moment there, I lost my kids.
She managed to find her balance, but she offers this advice to today's women in the workforce.
My husband had to fix dinner. My husband had to take the kids. When I was out of town, had to take them. That has to be an understanding from Jump Street. Always inform your mate what your job is like and what it's going to tell you. Can you deal with that? The thing that most of all, don't forget the children.
In 1994, Boyd laid down her microphone and retired from television news. Today, she fills her time with her large family and many loved ones. She's a longtime member of the Lynx, a board of director for Indiana's Children's Wish Fund, and a 50-year volunteer for UNCF.
Each one of those organizations have helped me grow some kind of way. And you know, it's great to be number one, but you gotta give back.
When it comes to Boyd's greatest career accomplishment, it boils down to the impact she's had on the community she loves.
When I look at television today, I see black men and women on every station in this city. That makes me proud.
Celebrating Women's History, brought to you by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Welcome back to our special Celebrating Women.
As many of you probably know, this year marks Wish TV's 70th anniversary.
And as we celebrate our 70th year, we'd like to take the time to highlight two Indiana Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame members who have contributed to our station's legacy on camera and behind the scenes.
Patty Spittler, host and producer for Pet Pals TV and Great Day TV, has been in broadcasting for more than 4 decades. In the 1970s, she was one of the first female radio disc jockeys in the country. She started her career in her hometown of Dayton and then continued in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Richmond, Virginia. In 1982, she came to Indianapolis to co-host Indianapolis Afternoon with Dick Wolfsey on Wish TV. From 1985 through 2004, she worked as a news reporter, anchor, and entertainment reporter. She traveled to LA, New York, and around the world to do celebrity interviews. From 1990 to 2002, she hosted Patty, a quarterly entertainment-oriented show for which she won an Emmy Award. She's been nominated for 17 Emmys. Patty retired from Wish TV in 2004, 17 years after being diagnosed with an inner ear condition that causes hearing loss and balance issues. Following retirement, Patty suffered from depression. Seeking a focus for her life, she got a Bernese Mountain Dog named Louie and became the dog park lady. In 2009, she was invited to join Pet Pals TV, a magazine show now seen on more than 20 stations. In 2015, Patty became the host, reporter, and executive producer of Boomer TV. In 2017, that weekend lifestyle show became Great Day TV with Patty at the helm, and is seen on several Indiana stations. She volunteers her time and talent for both of these programs. Patty helps with Central Indiana animal welfare and fundraising events, such as Indy Humane's Mutt Strut. Patty is also a volunteer spokesperson for Hear Indiana, which helps people with hearing loss, and the National Alliance on Mental Illness. She makes personal appearances, speaking with humor, a positive outlook, and emphasis on staying relevant in a changing world. Patty shares her life with a Bernese mountain dog named Stewie, a mutt named Mabel, an indoor kitty, and a variety of stray and wild animals in her neighborhood. Patty is finally living the wild life.
Peggy McClellan grew up in Indiana and attended Ball State University, intending to be an English teacher. After one broadcast elective, she changed course, leading her to a 50-year career in broadcasting. Peggy married a fellow broadcast student. A second son was on the way as she graduated. Her first TV job was WTTV. Peggy learned the entire production process, running equipment, producing and directing shows like Cowboy Bob, Janie, Popeye and Peggy, and of course, Sammy Terry. Peggy was asked to do the witch voice. Her kids still think this is one of her most impressive moments. In the 80s, she led many remotes from the WTTV production truck, doing high school sports, pro, and college teams. In 1987, she was promoted to production manager. Her thirst for adventure drew her to Hawaii, where from 1989 to 1995, she was production manager for KFVE-TV. While in Hawaii, she taught production courses at Chaminade University and started a full-service video production and marketing agency. She returned to Indiana in 1995 and soon was executive producer for WNDY-TV. A year later, she was back at WTTV, where she was in charge of local productions, sports, and statewide Hoosier Millionaire program. In 2002, the station changed hands again, so she started Producers Plus. It incorporated in June 2004 as a woman-owned business. In 2010, Peggy created Indie Style for Wish TV, rebranded to Lifestyle Live. In addition to creating numerous Emmy-nominated specials for Wish, she recently helped launch Business, Equity, and Opportunities. None of this would be possible without the lifelong love of her sons, who tagged along on all of her adventures, and still do.
These two broadcast pioneers are still hard at work, evolving and creating local TV, a passion they share.
And later on, we'll shine some light on some other unsung heroes, both on air and behind the scenes, and reflect on their contributions to broadcasting and Wish TV.
Stay with us.
Celebrating Women's History, brought to you by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Welcome back to our Celebrating Women special.
It's time to circle back to the incredible story of Violet Lewis.
Here, Dr. Ponders gives us a personal look into her grandmother's life and how it's impacted her own journey.
My mother once said she didn't know who I loved more, her or her mother. And I didn't answer that question. I wasn't crazy. I wanted to be around her. And to be around her, I could not be a little girl. I had to carry myself in a certain way, and I did that. I was her travel partner for years. She had a sense of causes that were important to her, one of which was March of Dimes. Here in the city of Detroit, she started the March of Dimes Fashion Extravaganza that existed for about 60 years. I wanted to be involved with everything she was involved in. So I'm involved in the church that we both were members of. I belonged to the sorority that she founded at the college. I did March of Dimes for years. The philanthropic side of her is very personal to me. And I support those organizations even now. The college has always been a part of my life. From literally, I was born on my grandmother's birthday. That's how I got the name. I have done everything at the college, from clean desks and chairs and bathrooms to serve as an interim president. The longest serving position I had was the vice president of student services. The college still has that same purpose. It's giving employment to people in an area where they were not able to get the kind of training to do what they need to do. Same basic principle, just a shift. We went from office type employment to design. And the thing that I love, it's all connected to changing the lives of people. I basically try to visit every class because I think they need to understand the history and understand where they are. I am very involved with the college right now. And until my dying breath, I will be very involved with the college as long as I am allowed to be. And I enjoy it. I enjoy every single student. She always used to tell me that you take lemons and you make lemonade. So no matter what the challenge is, her faith was important to her. My faith is important to me. There's nothing that God and I together cannot move through. I may not be able to stop it from happening. That doesn't mean that I won't move through it. So there's a commitment that I have that I must help people. I just, yes, I need money to exist, all right? But I have got to do something where I help people. That is true with both of my sisters. And I think we got that from her. Most of all, I think I got a sense of confidence that there is, I may not know how immediately, but I can find out how.
What a great story. A huge thank you to Dr. Ponder for sharing her family's story. And if you missed part 1 of our exclusive look into Violet Lewis's life or any of tonight's stories, visit wishtv.com/celebrating.
Celebrating Women's History, brought to you by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Welcome back to our Celebrating Women special.
We appreciate you spending time with us as we celebrate the women trailblazers who have paved the way for others and continue to do so.
And we hope that you've been inspired by the stories we've shared.
You can find out more about these amazing women and so much more on our website, wishtv.com/celebrating. From all of us at Wish TV, thanks for joining us. Good night.
Discover more at wishtv.com. And when you follow Wish TV on Facebook, check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.